Alright guys, welcome to another video here on the EGL channel. Today we are going to be going through some squads you can build around this Rooney end of an era card. First and foremost, let's have a quick dive into it and what you can do with him, which is a lot, let's be honest. Looks absolutely fantastic, by the way. I think the value is really actually quite good at 420k for this card. Most of these formations are going to be based around him actually playing in centre midfield or in CDM, and you might question it, but looking at these defending stats, I know a lot of people have went with an engine on him, of course, just to bump that up, but realistically, the way I'm seeing it, you put a shadow on him, and he is a very, very, very solid central midfielder. He's got good stand tackling. He's got good, decent defensive awareness. His interceptions are solid. Head and accuracy is great. Sliding tackle is not that great, but his aggression, his strength, and everything is really, really solid. And I mean, look at everything else is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, this guy could literally play anywhere. These formations are mostly going to be kind of based on him playing the centre mid, but you really could change it up very, very easily. So let's dive into the first one then. This is going to be coming in at 527k, so about 500k with Rooney included. So I mean, you take him out of the equation on this one, it's costing you about 100k around it, and for that reason we're using some free cards that you can use to link to Wayne Rooney. This Sinclair card isn't hard to get. It's one of the obviously EFL Championship cards that you can play at left mid. He's a strong link in 94 pace, 82 dribbling. Of course, you whack a decent little card on that, like a finisher, I think, and it becomes very, very usable. But to be honest, for this sort of price point, it's not a bad card whatsoever. But let's have a run through from the defense and then forward. Of course, Leno and Nets to get the link into Klosterman, who would get on 8 chem, of course, with loyalty and your manager. Schultz next to him is a very solid left back. Of course, Joe Maldini has run the footmark, he calls him. Joe Gomez in at centre back with Semedo at right back. Very, very standard back line. But we're using Gomez and spending a good chunk of our coins to get that Grealish Team of the Year honourable mentions in there. He's a free card to do as well, so I try to always utilise these free cards in this cheaper squads. There's stuff you can grind towards to make your team better without really spending any coins whatsoever, or any money to get coins, of course. So Grealish in there. Strong link up to Ollie Watkins is always good. He's a really decent one coming in around 60k. Lucas out wide. Sissoko in central midfield with Rooney will be a really good pairing. Sissoko's very defensive. Rooney not so much, but he still can, tussle in there if he needs to, but has everything else at his disposal. This is probably going to be playing in a 4-2-3-1 or in a 4-4-2, or you could possibly even move it around and go into 3-5-2 with Schultz, Klosterman, and Gomez at the back. You have Semedo out wide, you have Sinclair out wide, and then just play around with it. Rooney can play a cam, he can play a central midfielder, you can play a CDM, you can play a striker, you can play him anywhere, but this is based on 4-4-2 for the most part. You could definitely mix it up. It would be very easy to change Sissoko around for somebody maybe, or Grealish around for somebody maybe a little bit more defensive. You can mold this whichever way you wanted, but as I said, 4-4-2, Rooney playing CM is going to be ridiculous, I think. 527k for this one. Let's move on to something a little bit more intense, and again, we're going with Rooney in CM. He will be the attacking CM in your formation. I'm considering putting him in next to Bruno Fernandes and just sending. I mean, you could do that if you're not really too bothered about being defensive, but this is your about a million. It's about 1.1 million coins with Rooney included. Obviously at the back, very meta. Pope there with Gomez to get him that strong link, and then of course Varane and Mendy with the perfect links to each other, fit in there very, very nicely. Semedo at right back once again. Kante in the midfield with Rooney. Then out wide, I would play Rashford and Rafinha. I would play this in a 4-2-3-1, so you could have Grealish behind Vardy, which would be really nice, I think. Very, very English-centric, and I think it's important to do that. As far as right midfielders goes, you could change around for a left midfielder and put him on 7k. Obviously, we know that there is not a great deal of right midfielders in the Premier League, but that Rafinha card is really, really nice if you want to bomb down the wing, get those crosses in. Vardy is somebody who will meet them, and of course, if you've got Rooney plowing forward, he's going to be there as well. But again, this is all about where you want to play Rooney. You could maybe even change this one around fairly easily. If you did want to play him a little bit further forward in terms of, having somebody else in there, it's just a case of getting a strong link to Rooney. That's the problem. That is the problem right now in terms of, there's not really any good English CDMs. You're looking at maybe putting in Henderson or somebody along those lines. But this is the way I'm seeing it. If you're playing him in CM, it's very easy to fit Kante into that squad. But let's move on, and this is where we become, a little bit more tasty, it has to be said. This will be a very attacking formation, a very, very attacking formation. So at the back, you got Van Dijk and Gomez and Alisson just to get those perfect links in there. Van Aanholt, obviously at left back with Walker at right back. I had to go play around with this one to see if the best value you could get out of it. I ended up pushing up a little bit just to get that extra inform on his second inform, Fernandes, and Gomez with his first inform, of course. Cantona in that. This is a big baller squad. Look, if you got 5.4 milli coins liquid, then this is as good as you're going to get, I think, in terms of, well, people who are going to link very nicely. Anyway, Saint-Maximin at left mid, Rashford in there. That inform Rashford card has flown up, by the way. Absolutely flown. I'm pretty sure he's run up by about 100k because people are thinking linking him into Rooney. Again, it's the problem with the right midfielders in terms of chemistry for the Premier League. Son in there would be a really good addition, but as I said, you clear this in the 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. Rooney and Fernandes are going to be bombing forward. You need to be putting them on stay back while attacking if you want them to be more defensive, and they can be. I mean, Bruno Fernandes' defense is really good. I mean, him and Rooney is pretty similar. Rooney has that physicality, though. He will hit people, which is always good. Usually we only give you 3 or 4 squads. We're going to go into the 4th one. It's maybe a little bit of fun for the Man United fans out there. As a Newcastle fan, this wasn't really my forte building this, but it has to be said, it's a lot of coins. It is a lot of coins, but it looks really fun. A 3-5-2 is how I would play this one. I mean, look, you have to get Ronaldo in there with Rooney, even as somebody who does not support Manchester United or is really a big Man United fan whatsoever. You want to look at getting Ronaldo and Rooney in the squad together. Ronaldo, that flashback card in there is very, very cheap to be doing. And of course, it's a flashback to his time with Man United. So I think, you know, that's sort of the nostalgia around it. Looking at the back line, though, let's start from the back. Of course, Van der Sar in nets. I've tried to pick the babies and the cheapest versions of these ones. So if you have more coins, you can upgrade. But of course, Rashford, not necessarily the cheapest one. Nonetheless, Van der Sar, Ferdinand, Blanc, and Smalling in there as well. Smalling was just for a laugh more than anything. You could possibly change that around for Maguire, but realistically, there's not a great deal of other good defensive options in foot right now. Past or present for Man United, outside of Ferdinand and Blanc. You don't want more in there, etc., etc. Smalling's probably your best option. So Ferdinand, Blanc, and Smalling in there. Playing in central midfield, this time round I would actually have Keane alongside Fernandes, and I would push Rooney further up. Would probably replace where Keane is with Rooney. And have Rashford and best out wide, Cantona behind Ronaldo and Rooney. A phenomenal Manchester United squad. Is coming in 11 million in fairness, but at the same time, it's just a little bit of fun. But let me know what you think of them. I think this 520k squad is something that's going to be very, very popular. The 1.1 million, I think you can really play around with this, but it's about getting those English players. I think that Grealish one is a really solid one to do if you're struggling for coins, to get a hold of him into your squad. Let's just have a quick look at that card, actually, as we do have a little few seconds on the video left to go. Put a Hunter out. I mean, it's getting crazy. What is everybody else? I'm presuming Hunter, yeah. So 97 acceleration, 93 sprint speed. He's got really good dribbling, really good finishing, etc., etc. His composure is there. His passing's great. 4-star, 3 stars, maybe a little bit of a letdown on this one, but still a very good card nonetheless. But there's your 1.1 million. There's your 5.5. Again, you could just play around with this and make it as cheap as you want. If you take Fernandes and Gomez out from their informs, I mean, what, you're saving yourself at least about 700. I mean, what? So 760, 675. You're saving yourself a mil. So you could very, very easily change this round. Same with Saint-Maximin, you don't need to spend on him. Same with Son, you don't need necessarily to spend on him. You get a cheaper left back. You could make this probably about 3.5. But if you've got this amount of coins, you're wanting, you know, typically I find that if you don't have 1 million coins, you know, you're at about 1 million coins. That's it. But if you're further than that, I know your team's obviously expanded out. It seems to like snowball when you get more coins. And this is a good price point for a very, very good squad. And of course, the Man United past and present, which is just unobtainable for a lot of people, but I just thought it'd be a bit of a laugh. But let me know what you think of the squads. Let me know what you think of Rooney, if you've got any other ways of getting him in. Some people are struggling. I think English icons are probably going to be the easiest route in, of course, to get them on those strong links. All English normal players are flying up right now. So make sure that you maybe take your time with this one. It does have a few weeks on it. The prices of cards should drop down. Just the initial rush coming in before weekend league. If you don't want to use them this weekend, you can save yourself some coins further down the line. But let me know what you think of the squads below, and we'll catch you for the next video.